Work is going on right now. Will you publicly call Mitch McConnell?
All right, so that was Senator Suzanne Collins driving off after being directly asked by a college student whether she would call for an emergency session to push for gun control legislation. Now, this video was uploaded by Bowdoin college student Livia Kunins-Berkowitz. Now, Congress is currently under a August recess, right? So they don't have to work. Well, that would be kind of nice, right? Just to be able to go on recess for the entire month. And so this is the time where a lot of Congress goes back to their districts, back to their home states, and for the most part, decides to beg, hold fundraisers and beg corporations for cash. Now, Berkowitz had approached Collins and her staffers on Tuesday afternoon in Portland to ask if a Republican senator would join some of her colleagues on both sides of the aisle to demand that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell reconvene the Senate for an emergency vote on universal background checks. Now, the House had passed two bills along those lines to have universal background checks, and all McConnell would do is just to bring Republicans back and hold a vote. Now, Republicans and Democrats, right? Now, is he going to do that? No. So now I'm going to show you more of this video of Berkowitz trying to flag down, trying to catch Suzanne Collins to try to get her on board. Take a look.
Senator Collins, are you going to call an emergency vote on gun control now? We need the Senate to convene right now to talk about gun control. Yes or no, Senator? I'm scared to go to school. I'm scared to go to my synagogues. Yes or no? An emergency session.
I have been a long-time supporter for using background checks.
But we need a session right now or more kids are going to die. More kids are going to die. Okay. Work is going on right now. Will you publicly call Mitch McConnell? So I just talked to Senator Collins. Her car drove around the block like 6 times to avoid us. And I said, are you going to call an emergency Senate? And she kept saying it's an important issue, but didn't answer yes or no on an emergency Senate meeting. She said it's important, but she didn't say yes or no. She kind of avoided the question, even when I said kids are dying in our schools.
All right, so now here's the thing, right? So Senator Collins, her response to this, just getting driven away and saying, oh, it's important, but I can't give you an answer. I can't commit. That's kind of weird because Suzanne Collins is not your crazy NRA-obsessed Republican. She is your moderate establishment Republican, right? And she kind of has to be in Maine or else she won't get elected. So not only that, but she's actually on record of saying that she supports universal background checks. So now that's weird, but actually not. And I say it's weird because it's a Republican. But in reality, both Republicans and Democrats, at least the voters, agree on background checks for gun purchases. 97% of American voters agree with universal background checks. So I think it's really, really strange how she didn't answer the question. I mean, not even saying, oh, no, I'm going to urge McConnell to call an emergency session, right? Now, whether or not McConnell does it, that's the least that you can do, and at least shows that, hey, look, I do care about this issue. I will urge McConnell to come out, and whether he does it or not, well, that's really up to him. But I'm going to at least, join with my fellow colleagues in saying, hey, we do need to address this issue. We do need to talk about, universal background checks. This is widely supported by the American people. It's basically a layup. And it's super, super weird that she is not in favor of it, that she couldn't give a yes or no answer. And again, I keep saying that it's weird because she's not somebody who takes a lot of money from the NRA. In 2018, I couldn't find any donation that she had taken from the NRA. She's not insane on guns. She's got a C or a C plus rating from the NRA. So I don't know what the deal is. That's really, really weird. Again, this should be very easy to do. Already, you have people from across the aisle. The two that I know of for sure are Senator Bernie Sanders and Sherrod Brown. They were the first lawmakers to demand that McConnell call the Senate back from the recess vote to have a vote on this. Now, I can understand why McConnell doesn't want to vote on this, why a lot of Republicans, first, I don't want Republicans on the record because a lot of Republicans do take money from the NRA. And so they don't want to jeopardize that. They don't want to put them on the record, even on something that's deeply, deeply popular. This is something that even Donald Trump has said, oh, yeah, background checks. Yeah, makes sense. I'm going to do background checks. And then, of course, after he meets with the NRA, he walks that back and says, don't do no background checks. So on that case, it's pretty clear that there's some money involved. But with Suzanne Collins, I don't know. Maybe it's just, maybe she doesn't want to be bothered while she goes and begs for money from big donors. She actually does have a couple of challenges now. And so maybe she's like, maybe I might want to look into getting some of that NRA money. Even though I haven't taken it before, maybe I can get something, because now I've got a legitimate challenger, and actually a couple of legitimate challengers. I mean, one of them is Betsy Sweet, who's a big progressive that has finally taken on, Suzanne Collins, because, look, she's in a little bit of danger because of her Kavanaugh vote. And so there's that, right? So I don't know. Here's another very generous possibility. Maybe she just goes, I'm not going to bother because I know Massacre Mitch is going to shoot it down. No matter what, he's not going to bring it to a vote. Why? It's because he calls himself the Grim Reaper. Either way, this is not good for Suzanne Collins. I mean, again, she's facing a lot of heat for Kavanaugh, and now she's facing heat over this and has a progressive challenger. So I think she's in a world of trouble, and running away from your constituents is not going to help. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.